And now, for another episode of As the Account Churns. Hello everyone, Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends. We are here on the Free-to-Pause account. We are here to, go over it a little bit. Turns out, last week, I put out a video, whoa, we're halfway there, and we were not actually halfway there. I don't know. Apparently I can't read a calendar or something. I'm not 100% sure what happened. Regardless, this is apparently the halfway point. I don't know if we're going to have monthly endpoints another week after this, or maybe another 2 weeks after this, but we are going to be, certainly creeping up towards the end of the third leg of this, I guess. Some weird looking horse, I guess. And I wanted to go over where I am with the account. I've certainly slowed down on doing daily growth challenges with it because, at this point in time, there's a lot of grinding that you're doing. So let's take a look at where we are with some of the important things that have happened on this account. First of all, as you can see, we are 36 of 60 on our way towards Arbiter. We have the affinity bonus level 9 left to go. Now, I am not 100% sure if I am going to grind out these affinity bonuses or if I am going to decide to distribute things a little bit more. I've done a little bit of distribution just to get a few nudges of stats here and there. The reason I'm kind of worried about it is from a free-to-play points perspective. Focusing on one of them to get it to level 9 or level 10 is not really going to get me the most points. That said, I think I want to mostly try to get Arbiter and see if I can get Arbiter by the end of this challenge, but I don't want to necessarily compromise where I am at the leaderboard. And that's something I wouldn't have thought I would want to do early on in this challenge. But now that I've been in first place for honestly as long as I have been, I think I kind of owe it to you guys to maybe see if I can push and win the event itself. But we're going to kind of play it by ear. I'm going to start collecting some more. I can save them up. It's not like I can't use some of this stuff a little later on. And to be fair, there's still a lot of extra rewards I unlock by getting this affinity bonus level 9. In fact, if you look at how many gems I have here, I got almost 800 gems and a bunch of energy just from finishing the affinity bonus level 8 and being able to do absolutely everything else afterwards. I knocked out about 12 or 14 of these missions last night. So looking where my account is, one of the things I've started doing in a couple of cases is identifying a few champions that really could use and help my account if I had them as 5 stars, and I've been 5-starring them. And as a result, I have slowed down a little bit on getting 6 stars. Now, I've got almost 2 chickens worth of champions to bring to 6 stars, but I'm kind of working on a couple other things as well. For example, I'm actually think I'm going to be building this second Cold Heart here. I'm going to get her to 5 stars. I don't know if I'm going to make her 6 star or not, other than I may need to for the Void mission to get a champion to 6 stars and ascend them to a 6-star ascension, and that might be a reason to do that. But a 5-star Cold Heart can still be very effective in content such as Spider, where I think having 2 Cold Hearts and a Geomancer will actually help me get through Spider quite a bit better. So I'm looking at that. I'm also looking at maybe Durandil as possibly another eventual 6-star. Durandil can absolutely smack. And as far as nukers go that could be viable in either arena or in other content, Durandil would be a good replacement for Kale. He ignores defense. He does a lot of damage. I really like him. And honestly, I don't have to book him for some of this stuff as well. So I may look into him to make him my next 6-star, or at least one of my next 6 stars. I've got a couple of other options. I've got Rector Drath, I've got Morgaine, I've got High Katoon in theory. I've even got Bowsmith Flannan. I still love this guy. I'm still using him in all kinds of places, and the only reason I'm not using him more is because he's not 6-star yet. So I've got a bunch of different options of who I could 6-star next, and I think it's really going to come down to what's going to make my account pop the most in the content where I absolutely need it. One of the things that Durandil has been helping me with is I think getting him just a little bit better will help me get past Bommel in Sur City, which will help open up quite a few other floors that I'm pretty sure I can clear if I can get to them. Particularly here in Curse City, this is the floor I'm talking about specifically, and this is really quite a bit of a challenge. I've got turn meter control on Cold Heart, and that is causing me to get extra bombs thrown around there, and so as a result, it's hard to keep everybody alive. Even Ugo's passive isn't enough. Now, I could certainly redo her masteries, but that seems like an awful lot of extra stuff to do just to get past this one one thing of Bommel. Plus, that's going to eventually start costing me gems, so I don't really want to do that often. But even then, her Heartseeker is the only reason I'm able to keep in damage, because that Heartseeker is doing a lot of damage, and I'm, just kind of struggling to get there, I guess, especially considering Ugo is bad affinity, and so is Kale. So this is one where maybe the double Cold Heart approach may be helpful. Right now I'm just using Fang Cleric for the increased speed, and maybe Fang Cleric drops out of this, maybe a second Cold Heart comes in, and that's enough extra damage to make this blow through pretty quickly, or maybe it's just not going to work, I don't know. But it's worth trying. I've got another week or week and a half before I get stuck and I get locked out of this, so I'd like to kind of push this stuff just a little bit. I try it once a day just to kind of see if I can make it work, because honestly at this point in time, it's a free trial if I've got a little bit of time. Don't forget, if you're starting a new account, you can use my link to get a Rector Drath and an Ugo on your account and have an amazing start to your raid adventure. Now in Doom Tower, I've done something that very few people in the free-to-play challenge have done so far, and I got past 90 Bommel on normal. Looking at the leaderboards, a bunch of people have ended up moving on to the hard floors because they couldn't get past Bommel, and most of them have been stuck on floor 9 as well. I don't suspect I'm going to get very far on hard, so I've been pushing up as hard as I can. Now Bommel was difficult, but Master Butcher helped me a ton, and I ran this a couple times and finally managed to win once, which was really all I needed to do. Now Scarab has been a little trickier, and I've been trying to balance out with my Vergis, and I've had to rebuild him a little bit and nudge people around and steal some gear, and I've got a team that kind of works. It definitely works about once out of every 3 to 4 times, but it still takes 8 minutes, as you can see right here on auto. So as much as I would love to farm this, given it's a once in 3 or once in 4, and it takes 8 minutes per run to even see if it fails or succeeded, it didn't make a lot of sense for me to farm Scarab King. Luckily, I was able to get through the Celestial Griffin pretty quickly. So this team here can farm it pretty easily. I could certainly maybe find a way to speed this up a little bit. Frozen Banshee certainly is the weak link in this team, but overall, this team seems to work pretty well, and having a single weak link doesn't seem to be the worst thing here. I don't really want to bring Taragi, because I think between all the buffs that he throws up and some of the debuffs that he throws up as well, I think that could cause a problem. Who knows? Maybe I'll give that a try and see if that speeds us up a little bit. I am worried, however, about being able to farm Dark Fae. I cannot farm Dark Fae 80, and honestly I'm looking for the best gear I can possibly get. So right now I'm farming Celestial Griffin, and once I get past Dark Fae, we'll certainly see where we can go. And in Dark Fae, I've got a pretty good team. Morgaine does some turn meter steal, very helpful. Obviously Cold Heart and Rilla keep the turn meter under control. Ugo brings me the decreased defense so I can kill everybody in the first place, and Alice manages to smack everybody down, which has been very helpful. Problem is that I'm still not quite fast enough to control the Dark Fae 100%. Rella also isn't booked, so she's not 100% landing on her A1 for the turn meter control. So the end result is eventually the Dark Fae gets a turn, creates my Alice. My Alice possibly kills my team unless they can survive. So this is a very hit or miss thing. I can win once out of every 5, maybe once out of every 10. Again, not reliable enough to farm, even if it's only taking a minute and a half to kind of see if it dies or not. It makes no sense to run 10 runs, win 1 or 2 of them, and go back again. Again, that's a huge waste of time. So as much as the Dark Fae gear is some of the best, farming it at this low a level is not really going to get me gear that I'm going to use for a long time on this account. And honestly, I can use the silver, and even that then, I've got some okay Guardian gear. Getting more Guardian gear from the Griffin is going to be more helpful to my account overall, both in getting me additional silver and the fact that I don't have a lot of regeneration gear, so that's going to give me something with regeneration on it. So highlighting my team up here in Clan Boss, you can see I finally moved the Frog into the team. He is still not fully booked. In fact, I don't have the cooldowns booked on his A2 or his A3, and those are the only 3 books I have left on him. I am looking forward to getting those books in ASAP, and until then, I've gotten just a little bit more damage out of the Frog than I did out of my Kale, mostly because I can survive an extra few turns when I might not otherwise. Once I can get the Frog to be a little more consistent, and honestly even just a 4-turn cooldown versus a 5 on that A3 is going to help a ton. Getting that to a 3-turn cooldown means it's going to be up almost all the time, and I think that's really going to help keep me alive. When I had it working properly, when this was the Force Affinity, or not Force, it was Magic Affinity, I believe, I actually managed to get my current record, which is 27 million on a Nightmare key. In fact, right now, we are going to give Ultra Nightmare a try with this team. We're going to see where this is. I am going to interrupt this if we don't get too far, so we may be back with a quick interruption here, but we are trying to get to at least 17.57 million to get this mythical chest right here. And if we can get to that, that's going to be worthwhile. If I can't get to that, well, I have one key left to do on hard because I've already done my one on brutal and I've done two on Nightmare as well. So let's hope we can get through Nightmare. We're going to start with this off here and we will cut back to you and let you know how it works. Just to break into this here, just so you understand the damage difference between Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. Traditionally, if I'm around boss turn 6, I'm doing between 4 to 5 million damage, maybe as much as 6 million damage before the damage starts to drop off just a little bit. The boss being 20 points faster, needing just a little bit more accuracy. All these champions should have enough accuracy to land all their debuffs, but that little bit of extra speed gap combined with the fact that he's going to hit just a little bit harder really is what kind of makes the difference between Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. You can drop off quite a bit of additional damage going from Nightmare to Ultra Nightmare. Well, as you can see right here, we have lost almost the entire team other than Tagore, and well, Tagore is not going to be able to revive everybody. We're not even at 10 million damage here on Nightmare. Again, I'm going to need to work on this. We're going to need to get the frog booked. That is going to help significantly because right now the frog is not getting his ally attack, or his ally protection, I should say, out as quickly as possible. So I will be right back after I restart the game. If you by the way, you can actually save your key by quitting the game instead of pausing and leaving. So if you quit the game, if you either force stop it on your phone or quit here, you can save your clan boss key. Very worthwhile when you're trying to tune your clan boss team. So perfect. We are back here. I can now run a brutal key here. I've got one key left. I can certainly quick battle this one as well. So we will certainly run that. Probably 35 to 40 million would not surprise me at all, especially because this is affinity and it's an easy affinity for me to do. 33 million, just fine. I don't really care too much. It's brutal. We're good to go. And of course, now is when I realized I wanted to run hard, not brutal. So instead of just one keying this and one keying hard, I have now two keyed brutal for no really apparent reason. You know what? Even the guy at the top is going to make mistakes. Faction Wars has been a grind, but we are certainly making some serious progress here. I am almost at this chicken right here at 415. That's a 3-star chicken. Not super exciting, but extra chickens help a bit when you're champion training. And I've got Dark Hells as one of the ones I'm really far on at stage 15. I am actually at like stage 18 or 19 on the Sacred Order. Obviously, not all of these are 3-starred, and that's fine. It's certainly nice to get higher up, especially if I can get to 21 and get a legendary book, and like to wrap up more of these stars as we go. But I think right now, if I'm not pulling new champions or building newish champions, either good rares or epics I might pull, I'm not really going to be advancing too much more. I think I've got most of the edge stuff I can get without investing a little more in a couple different champions. That said, that's part of why I'm investing in a couple champions up to 5 stars, because sometimes simply getting a champion to 5 stars or a second champion to 5 stars is the difference between not getting past the first boss and getting all the way to level 14. Finally, I have been grinding Live Arena. As you can see, I've got a decent amount of silver Live Arena medals. I have gotten to silver. I'm actually kind of climbing up right here to maybe get out of silver at some point in time. Rewards have been pretty decent. These, just what you can get from these chests has been really good. You can get legendary books. You can get 5 and 6-star gear of a good set. You can get some potions. You can get all kinds of cool stuff. All of the resources help. So if I can get the 5 wins a day, I'm certainly trying. I am up to spending up to 10 gems to get to this 5 wins a day. I am not spending more than 10 gems on Live Arena refills. And if I can avoid it, I'd rather not spend those gems. But it is certainly nice to get some of those 5 wins. It's also nice to get some of these big chests as well, because that's where you get primal shards and a lot more of this really good gear. In fact, you can see right here, I'm getting close to finishing how many of these I can get per month, but that's 3 primal shards, which is 3 more primal shards than I had before I started. So I cannot complain at all. Primal shards are a good way to get epics, maybe even legendaries. I don't expect to get a mythical on this account. So there is the tour of the free-to-play. I am currently level 56. I might be level 57 in the next few days. If you want to check it out, I do stream this on Twitch. Occasionally I actually stream on YouTube as well, so you can certainly check me out. I have been focused on playing this on stream, so that's one of the places you can check to see me talk about some of this stuff live. As far as what I'm I'm going to be going for next. I have not pulled any shards as much as I was really tempted to in this particular champion chase because I did not think the rewards were quite worth it. I couldn't quite get myself to an epic book, so it didn't make a lot of sense for me to be pulling shards. And I think I'm going to save up and see what the next fusion is and how much that might change this account. It is certainly going to be an interesting choice given the next fusion. I could get them just in time to have a week or two left to use them before this ends. So we'll certainly see whether or not I'm going to be going for that next fusion. I think I may try to do it if I think it's going to be a good champion, but I'm only going to do it if it's not going to put me in a position where this account is going to linger or languish because I'm farming things that are not helping this account. And that's really overall where my push has been. I want to make account progress, so that means I am developing champions that I think are going to help me progress in some area or another, that are going to give me an edge in competition, but are also going to make this an account better in the long run. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. If you've got any tips that you think I should use, you got any questions about things that I am doing, or just want to give me some good notes and cheer me on, drop those notes down below in the comments. I appreciate them. I read them all the time. I do read almost every single comment right now. You guys are absolutely awesome. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. I really do appreciate all the support. And until the next video, I'm Bront CatHerder.